Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. We've got the only Honda Snowblower channel on YouTube. And we've got a couple large Facebook groups for Hondas. So please like and subscribe to these videos if you think they've saved you money, helped you do your own repairs. Let me tell you what we're going to do today really quick. I'm going to go over the service points on this HSS928, built for the United States. They came out in 2015, 2016. I recently got this in, and it's obvious to me that it hasn't been serviced, and this machine is at least 7 or 8 or 9 years old. And I'll show you the service points I'm going to go through really quickly here. We're not going to actually do the service points, but I'm going to show you how to what I do on a service. It's a little bit different from the older HS models like the HSS724-928-1332 because it's got different features, which we've spoken about before. It's got some very owner-friendly controls. So let's get started on this. The first thing I do before I start a Honda engine is what? This is a test for a lot of people that have been watching these videos. You check the oil. That's right. I checked the oil on this one. It's very low. It's barely touching the stick, and it's black. So I don't think it's been changed. So what I start off with, excuse me, is the business side of things, is the augers. Now I removed I'll post a link to the video we did on servicing the augers. I removed the shear pins, and these are very hard to move. There's a lot of resistance. They will move, but there's definitely rust in there. So I'm going to have to spray some penetrating oil at the end here, let it soak, and remove the augers. Now I removed the impeller. You can see, which I mentioned in the servicing the augers, putting some anti-seize grease in here. This was stuck. This part was stuck on there. Look at all the rust and everything. That's why you want, when you're servicing your augers, you want to put some anti-seize on here. So I started the service already. I pulled out the augers, okay. I took the cover off, the top cover off. It's pretty easy. It's only 5 or 6 little bolts, and then you just have to unplug the light. Look how dirty it is. It's really, really dirty. I'm going to have to clean it up. Look in the shop manual. Find out where the grease points are. I'll do individual videos on specific service points on this whole machine. It's fairly easy. Anybody can do it if you've got the Honda shop manual to reference and videos. It might take a couple hours. I already checked the chute. I was really surprised that the chute worked. The joystick worked. You know, usually they go out, I mean, not all the time, but sometimes they go out after 3 or 4 years. This machine's 7, 8, or 9 years old, and the joystick is working fine. If you look at the scraper bar, the housing guard, it's going to be need to replace. There's some rust in the... It's been left outside, and it's pretty obvious. Of course, I'm going to change the oil with 5W30. All right, let me show you the differences that I see with the HSS models compared to the HS models when it comes to servicing. We've got a four-part series on servicing the HS models. I'll throw a link to that in the end of the video. All right, let me put this up. I got a 6x4 I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay, now it's nice and steady. I made sure it's not going to fall over. Nice and sturdy. Oh, I got some gas coming out. Got to shut the gas off. It's going to leak out a little bit through the overflow on the carburetor. So up in this position, I can get a lot of work done. I can check my track clearance, my track adjustment. We'll show that. I can take off my sediment cut in my carburetor bowl, see if the carburetor needs cleaning. This machine actually runs pretty good, but I'm still going to do that. I'm still going to take these off and see if there's any dirt and sediment in there. I've got a problem with the throttle cable. Oh, that's the choke cable. I'm going to have to find out something's wrong with the throttle cable, so I'm going to have to take the air cover off. I'm going to have to take the top covers off to address that. I do that anyways in the service, okay? I can check my steering handles adjustment. We'll do something on that. They come down here. They're fairly easy to adjust. You don't want them too tight and you don't want them too loose. So we'll talk about that. The handle adjustments. The cables are the same on most machines. I can pull the bolts off. Let's see if I can get this boot off without breaking it. Okay, I pulled the bolt off. I can spray some cable lube down that hole on the holes. I can get some grease up in here. I can take this cover off. If you've been watching the videos on the HS models, I can take this cover off and clean and grease the spring so that it locks down as it should. When you've got the drive handle down, this should lock down. That's fairly easy. And what else do I have to do? I gotta check the throttle cable. I gotta check the... You can go in here and put a little bit of grease in here. Here's another. Your thumb control cable for your bucket height adjustment. We'll talk about that. It's a lot easier to use this than the pedal on the older machines. Here's your throttle. Is this your throttle cable? Let me look. No, I don't think it is. See, I'm kind of new to these machines. I'm learning. Here's your joystick. Okay, here's your throttle cable right here. Here's your choke cable, external choke control, which is pretty nice. This is your transmission cable going forward and backwards. We got a small video, a short video on replacing your joystick switch. It's really easy. It took me 10 minutes. Take these three little bolts out, and it pulls right out. And so I'll check that too. I know it works okay. Okay, this is a battery operated battery electric start. So I want to check the battery. I want to clean the terminals. I might put a trigger charger on it. I don't know how old the battery is or what kind of condition it's at. Down here, holy smokes, look at the damage. Well, it's really not that bad, but there's curling up on the bucket that I'm going to have to address. Can you see that? You see it's all curled up? It looks like it's not worn away, so I'm going to be able to do some nice body work here and straighten out these curls. And then I'll change the housing guard. Now, where does that come from, folks? Where does this come from? What causes this issue? You're not keeping the skid shoes adjusted. I hate talking about this all the time. These buckets cost a lot of money. And it doesn't take long to adjust your skid shoes and housing guard. It takes a few minutes, and we'll probably do something on that too. It's pretty easy to do, but we'll have a video on it. It's the Same procedure pretty much as the HS models. But what I'm going to do differently, I think I'm going to put some side shoes in here. So we're going to have side shoes to adjust, and we're going to have rear shoes to adjust at the same time. A lot of people have asked me about that. I can go down here and take this plate off, lubricate my chains. I've got a small video on that. It's really easy. Here's your track adjustment right here on either end. Let me put this back on the ground without killing myself. Okay, now with the cover off, I can check my belts, of course. I can check my belts. I didn't check them yet, but I can. They're easy to check. I suggest you pull the plug wire before you do this. And this machine being 8 to 9 years old, I'm not sure if the impeller bearing is still good shape. It's hard to tell from this side. I might pull the bucket. I'll probably pull the bucket. I'm going to pull the bucket, and then I can take the bearing out. And I'll replace the bearing. If I take the bucket off, I'm going to replace that bearing. It's about 25 bucks, but it's worth it. And I'm going to check the belts and replace them. If there's any cracks on the underside of the belts, I'm gonna change the belts too. So it's always a good idea. You can change both belts, even if your drive belt's good or even if your auger belt's good. You can always keep it as a backup for an emergency. All right, let me think of what else. Oh, I already checked the gas. It's nice and clean. I'm gonna pull all this off. I'm gonna take the muffler off. I'm gonna take all this off. I'm gonna pull the plug and look at the condition of the plug. Perhaps clean it. I mean, I'll probably change it. It's only $4, so I'll put a new plug in there, an NGK plug. So, you know, it's really not that difficult to do a service on this. It's just a little bit time consuming. To make things easier, I just went through the points that I'm going to use on servicing this HSS928, which is slightly different than the HS models because of the steering control, the joystick, the thumb control for your bucket. Plus, it's got electric start with a battery, so that's a little bit extra too. And then you've got a couple other service points that are specific to the HSS models. Okay, folks. So I really appreciate you watching this introductory video on servicing your HSS machines. It's the same for the 724 and the 1332. Canadian models or models that are sold over in Europe and other countries may be slightly different. So I suggest you buy the Honda shop manual. And I really recommend everybody buy the Honda shop manual. You know, you spent $3,000 to $4,000 for one of these machines. You know, what's an extra $47? USD to get the shop manual. It's got so much good information. It's worth its weight in gold. So stay tuned when we start doing other videos on this. We already have the video on servicing your augers. We already have a video on servicing your drive chains. Okay, folks? So we'll talk to you later. Thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe.